just waiting to be introduced here. So we have Jayesh Naithani, who is the Director of Customer Experience Enterprise Service Center, who is going to moderate the session. Can we please have the music? That's Jayesh Naithani, guys. Give it up for him. Then we have Sandiip Kothaari, Chief Technology Officer, Speciality Group. Let's give it up for Sandiip Kothaari. Woohoo! Come on, guys. I need the energy. We just had lunch. Then we have Uday, Head Customer Care and Sales, Hamilton Housewares Private Limited. Give it up for Uday Bhosale. Then we have 𝐂𝐫𝐞𝐚𝐭𝐢𝐧𝐬, Head Business Development and Partnership, Edelweiss Life Insurance. Then we have 𝐕𝐵𝐿, Chief CX Officer, 𝐈𝐼𝐧𝐵𝐿 Capital Services. Then we have Shami Kapoor, SVP and Head Operations, Tata AIG General Insurance Company Limited. Then we have Himanshu Rastogi, Analytics Head, ECL Finance Limited. Then we have 𝐕𝐳𝐧𝐬𝐿, CTO, Money Box Finance. Give it up for panelists, guys. Come on. I think we have few more panelists. Who might join us later. But thank you so much, gentlemen, for your time. I'm sure this is going to be amazing. And there are your mics. I think we have enough space, right? So 2 more people might join us soon.
Hello.
Yeah, thank you. Over to you guys. Thank you.
Yes, so good afternoon everyone. Hope you had a great lunch. Thodi si energy. I can understand dal chawal might have made you a little bit sleepy over here, but we'll try to make sure we are pretty much informative, understanding as well, just to make sure you have the kind of great experience with this panel. So my name is Jayesh Naithani. As she mentioned that I'm a Director Customer Experience at Service Center. So I basically help people in terms of understanding their customer journeys, understanding what the voice of customer is, and then giving them the kind of analytics which is required to understand what the human sentiment is. So this is a little bit about myself. I would ask everyone to introduce themselves over here, tell them what exactly you do. They'll be really happy to hear your experience over here as well. Thank you.
Hi, good afternoon everyone. My name is Sandiip Kothaari. I work for Speciality Group in the capacity of CTO. We are a chain of restaurants and food shops as well. So I've been in this industry for the last 3 decades, and my core competency lies in retail, food and beverage industry, hospitality and manufacturing. So it's great learning from this panel and from all of you. I look forward to it.
Hi everyone, good afternoon. My name is Uday Bhosale. I work with Hamilton, India, and as a head customer service and customer experience. I have over 25 years of experience dealing with BPOs, work with loyalty programs like Payback, Eureka Forbes, and my experience lies more on the customer experience improvement and delivery on service, on field service as well. Thank you.
Hi, good afternoon everyone. My name is 𝐂𝐫𝐞𝐚𝐭𝐢𝐴. I head Business Development Vertical, which is nothing but part of the sales organization. I have an experience of over 2 decades in insurance, both on the life and the health side. Happy to share my perspective amongst all of you today.
Good afternoon everybody, I am 𝐕𝐵𝐿. I am from IFL Securities, which is the best of the stockbroking. I had the CX experience, and I have experience almost 3 decades. Thank you.
Hello everyone, I think it's great to have all of you here. My name is Shami Kapoor. I head operations for Tata AIG General Insurance, and I think I'm feeling honored to be a part of this panel. Happy to share whatever learnings throughout my career I've got with each one of us who are there on this platform. Thank you.
Hello everyone, good to be here. I'm Himanshu Rastogi. I head analytics for Edelweiss Finance, and my primary work area involves credit risk modeling, customer segmentation, strategic inputs to the process and automation as well. Thank you.
Hello everyone, good afternoon. Well, first of all, thanks Krypton Media for organizing this wonderful event, and thank you Jayesh for moderating this wonderful panel. I am 𝐕𝐧𝐬𝐴. I represent 𝐕𝐧𝐬𝐴 Finance. 𝐕𝐧𝐬𝐴 Finance basically is into secured and unsecured lending for cattle and SME loans. Primary market that we cater to is the tier 2, tier 3 cities. Basically, I think we are making the one who are left over by the primary segment and include them in the whole lending process. Basically, my role at 𝐕𝐧𝐬𝐴 involves digitizing and making everything basically converting physical operations into digital operations so that everything becomes streamless. Customer experience so far, I think, has always been the key aspect that we look after, so that any product that we are rolling out to the customer is always seamless and robust in that terms. I think I'll be really happy to share my thoughts.
Thank you everyone. It's really great to have you people over here. So just to start on understanding what exactly the topic and everything is. So designing unforgettable customer journeys, leveraging digital innovations for outstanding experiences. So as we all know, so what we'll do is we'll start from a question. I'll ask a question which I want everyone to give a food for thought. So as you all know that customers are evolving. It's not just about an experience, it's about a personalization as well. Right, so I wanted to understand, I want your opinion on what has been the most significant digital innovation in your industry that has transformed customer journeys, and how has it impacted your business?
Yeah, so in our industry, hospitality and food and beverage, the personalization is prime importance for us. Now, for what we started with was the the digital menu. So digital menu, what we started was a digital menu board, and now in the restaurants also we keep our digital menu in the sense of iPads and all, or tablet, whatever we see. Of course, that's common nowadays, but that innovation we started way back in the year 2018, and prior to that in my other organization we had something called as food at gate. When I was working with another organization, that is where when you are doing your security check and when you are ready to board your aircraft, if you want to eat something or have some food or beverage, then you don't have any choice. You have to go to that outlet and then we have the food. In our case, what we did, we built a small app wherein the hostess goes to that particular customer and he takes the order. It was like we also learned from, it was one of Domino's 20 minutes delivery. That's what we did because it was all our outlets were ours only. So in this way, the customers was getting the convenience of getting his food and beverage at his boarding gate without going towards those particular outlets. So the hassle of going to that particular outlet and searching for it. So we curated the menu in such a way that he can take away in the aircraft itself as well. So this gave us the huge mileage as far as the industry is concerned and the customer experience also is concerned. Of course, the top line also increased a lot. Now all the airports have started doing this. So we were the pioneers into that when I was working with a company called Travel Food Services.
Thanks for the perspective. Yeah, I think from my experience, I've seen when we started from only calls, and the transition right now is more into digital, which has changed the entire perspective. And to support digital, I think omni-channel platforms is something very important. So when you have customers who are coming from digital channels, like a portal or social media, you should have a platform to manage those interaction in a seamless, connected way called an omni-channel platform, which is something very important to manage digital channels of customer service in a same, convenient, consistent way. In my early experiences, creation of digital apps is something very important which has transformed the journey in the previous organizations. Currently also, we have provided customers experiences and opportunities to reach out not through calls or emails, but through a simple link sent out to the customer. He just need to update his product details and his company is registered. Same link can be used to update the customer about his status. So I guess digital is something which has changed the entire journey for a customer. Thank you.
Thanks. I probably don't want to bore post-lunch to everyone in a monologue, but essentially I'll tell you from an insurance perspective, it's a little unfortunate where when you call about BFSI, where I is towards the last, which is insurance, it's actually last because the level of innovation in insurance often is copied rather than self-created, but I think the times are changing. Thanks to the quiz questions which we heard, the service deliveries are no longer in days, they are in hours. With the advent of e-com, with the advent of OTT, everything is accessible. There are 3 A's what lot amount of organizations, including us, are actually moving to in somewhat corollary sense. One is accessibility, which is, if you look at an OTT from that perspective, is I want to consume an information in a particular manner, in a particular language, to my particular taste. I should be able to access it. That's the first part. Second is availability is when I want, not when you are available. Okay. And the third part is where in an OTT or an e-com bit is addiction, is essentially saying that how do I kind of move to the next level in terms of the recommendation which you were to offer to me. You know my preferences first rather than I asking you, because I may not be very clear what I want. Look at example of Apple. It very clearly talks about innovation, not because it's coming from an arrogance, but it is saying that the customer experience has to be evolved. Which means today, the consumer may be telling you something is not the true sense. He probably is expecting you more and wants you to understand that particular delivery mechanism, and hence you are expected as a manufacturer to provide that. So if you look at, and I'll probably look at the examples and end with insurance organization of ours, is very clearly saying that digital is not a choice, it has to be mandated to an organization. That's the first part. The second important part is saying that can you make sure the accessibility, availability and recommendation is given to me basis my preferences. We've seen examples of airline which we talked about. Everything is hyper-personalized. You may start with your application through an agent, go onto an internet, move to a mobile for a web check-in. You're actually using or toggling multiple mediums to access one journey in that particular case. Okay. Life insurance is no different. In fact, these are the examples which are available, which are getting weaved as a part of the learning in our delivery mechanism. And essentially what we are saying, can we make insurance from a jargonized to a simplified solution? And which means very, very clearly, be available 24/7 using all digital mediums in the manner or the convenience what the customer is expecting. I can talk more about it with more examples, but essentially that's a SAR or an approach with which the organization is leading to.
Yeah, thanks. I think my co-panelists has covered most of the things, so there could be some repetitive stuff which we are talking about. One thing we have to agree that everything has changed after COVID. The things have changed. We have to talk about IoT to AI to Gen AI. So every time, by the time you realize you have understood technology, technology has changed. So the biggest challenge for us is to run behind the technology rather than technology behind us. So every time we are searching a new technology, and every time we are trying to create new differentiation in technology. So we have to appreciate that in my industry, I think in every industry, the two big things which has happened. Number one is the onboarding, digital onboarding, which has changed the complete scenario in financial segment, which you can do in 10 minutes. New clients can be onboarded from any city, anywhere. That is one thing which has a bigger change. Number two is where mobile utilization has increased, where in COVID everybody becomes, irrespective of age, has become used to it. So your even grandma might be using for YouTube, listening to her bhajans. So that's happened in my home also. So nothing new. So that's how the technology has changed you. So nobody is worried in using Amazon. What will happen if you make the payment online? So UPI has another, I would say, revolutionized the payment gateways. So you have to look at how fast the technology is changing. So keeping pace is one thing. I give you a simple example that 3 years back I have never attended CX Summit. Now look at how important is CX today. Today, even on a one day, I have at least 2 to 3 invites. I have to choose which one to attend for. So everybody is looking for how to improve CX, because you don't have now that physical touch. Now you have to create it through technology. And your product has become off the shelf. It is same. You can't have product differentiation more than 3 to 6 months even if you launch a new one. So differentiation in service becomes critical. So how you service your customer gives the stickiness. So there is nothing called loyalty. It's so easy to switch over in platforms. You look at which cab is cheaper, Ola or Uber. So accordingly you choose. Because both will take the same time, right? Both have the same facility. So experience becomes more important. So probably you will pay slightly higher for Uber, you think you get a better taxi and a better feel. So the most important thing is how you are creating differentiation in services, irrespective which segment, category or product category you belong to. So I think everybody here is actually looking for some new idea how you can make the differentiation in that, which can impact the customer experience. So I thought this is the forum, these are the events which are the most crucial as of today. So that going forward, the experience to the customer is different. So that going forward, you are able to differentiate and stand out. It's always word of mouth, right? The biggest selling point for any company is the reference, word of mouth. No marketing can do that. So I think everybody is chasing that only. Thank you.
My experience has been quite simple, and when I place myself in a customer's shoe, I really want something which makes me know a material very easily. And Reels, today all of us are quite attached to it. Reels makes us understand a lot of things, and that's where the thought came in our mind that insurance is one subject where how can you simplify within few seconds to make a customer realize its importance, and that's where an idea came up of when you're due for your policy renewals, rather than I keep sending you a boring letter and message and triggers, there's a 7 seconds video RN, in fact, it's a video renewal which comes up and the person's talk to you specifically addressing you. So that covers you getting it as a person. It talks exactly what it's important in your insurance for you. And obviously, any communication you do with your customer in the digital mode should have a call to action. And that's where the 7 second video led us that please don't miss out an opportunity of getting yourself covered, click here and pay. So my experience with whatever I've heard across till now is about being simple, but putting yourself in customer shoes is very, very important. Thank you.
So talking about digital innovation, I'll talk specifically about the finance industry. Does anybody know when? There is no digital without data, right? So when was CIBIL introduced in India? So that you all are rated at.
We'll give a shout out as well to someone whose answers.
So around 2000 is somewhere that credit score thing was introduced. Now I look back at it and see. I wonder how underwriting took place before all these bureaus were there. So definitely, I call it an innovation, especially for unorganized in terms of data, right, and an Indian market. So the bureaus have definitely played a very important role. After that, probably, you would have heard about Aadhaar. It's very important to kind of ascertain the identity of the customer, especially in finance industry. So that was a big breakthrough that has happened. Customer is lazy. I consider myself very lazy. So any experience that gives me my service or my product sitting on the couch just through the phone, I'll really appreciate. So I think that is what people also want, right? So just a few days back, I applied for a credit card. Right? It was a wonder to me that how easy was it to kind of get all the authentications done virtually, sitting on my sofa. I did not have anything to do, just applied for a card, and I think I went through a video KYC and all. So all those processes are there, but I never had to leave the comfort of my home, and it was very seamless process. So all these digital innovations are essentially catering to lazy people like me, who kind of want everything from sitting there in front of television or mobile phone and just everything delivered to us, right? Apart from Aadhaar, I already talked about UPI is one which our Prime Minister is also promoting when he is going abroad. And last but not the least, I think it has taken a bit of time to kind of garner attention, account aggregators, especially in our space, where people can, through their consent, can share their bank statements. We can get data for GST. Of course, insurance is also there now, and of course the wealth products that are there. So that all these innovations essentially gives an institution the right to kind of have their data with their consent. And on top of that, everything digital that you want to build, that is the base that is there. So in my words, I mean, these 4 innovations I'll put kind of on high priority, which enables whatever digital we are looking for today.
Yeah. Hello everyone, good afternoon. Okay, so I think speak about CX or customer innovations. Basically, I think CX or customer experience takes a center stage while for all of your ongoing developments or any new implementation that you would plan. Any journey that you are planning, I think one of the key aspects that currently that you would see or your product team would always essentially ensure about is that how smooth that particular feature is rolling out, so that it is very easy for the customer to use that particular thing. As one of my co-panelists has said, basically digitization is not the choice, but now it is the something very essential, very integrated that has to come as your product offering. And that is because you are not the only option right now there in the market. Because there are a lot of options and you are one of them, and unless your product stands out, then only basically customer adoption would be there. Back in I think 2000 I remember, and when my first salary account got opened, I was really amazed that I never had to walk into the bank's branch. And for any operation, I never had to go over there, everything was happening digitally. No, this is not something. So this was something for me to get amazed about while there in Mumbai or in a metro city, to have that kind of experience. But now this kind of experience is something which your customer wants in tier 2, tier 3 cities, and that's what you have to cater to. Okay, so basically that's how that smooth you want your products to be innovated at, and that's the customer journey that you are looking at. To speak specifically about in recent year, specifically post COVID, that customer the few things or few innovations that have happened which significantly has resulted into innovation, CX side innovation. I think one would be use of AI. And this specifically about so traditionally, if you think rule-based mechanisms or algorithms traditionally used to drive your risk mechanism, compliance mechanism, so on and so forth. But now with the advent of AI, specifically Gen AI, there are a lot of experimentation that is happening around the industry. That how do you leverage that technology so as to use it in every aspect, and use it with the alternative data that you have, so as to make use and come up with something which is very personalized to the customer. That is one. The second thing that I think that has seen over the years is the initiative from government as well as the whole API ecosystem that has come across. I think as Himanshu has spoken about, everyone else has spoken about, account aggregator, your CKYCs, tele video PDs, all are part of that particular thing. Now those particular services by and large have become part of the ecosystem, wherein those, at API level, those things are coming as services. And there, a small sort of integration you have to create within your product so that the complete service gets automated. And that's very important. Slowly and steadily we are progressing on that particular thing, and that particular space I think is and we'll be looking forward to have the innovations in that particular space. Yeah.
Yeah, so guys, we have Swapnil with us. So Swapnil, a little bit like a line about you, and then I'll come back with a question with you.
Sure. Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone, and apologies for joining late for this session. I was stuck in traffic. So I'm Swapnil Sant. I head service operations at Tata Click. There are three major line of businesses that we deal with. That is lifestyle, which is fashion, luxury, and beauty. As part of e-commerce business, of course, when it comes to innovation, I think that's the need of an hour, and that's what the topic of discussion is well for us. In our case, we deal with three different generations: Gen Zs, millennials, and sort of senior citizen and middle-aged group as well. Their thought become a part of innovation for us. Their thoughts become part of our expectation, because whatever they think, the expectation becomes so real for us, and that has to be delivered when it comes to e-commerce place. Competition is very cutting-edge technology that we deal with every single day, and having that constant effort being made towards customer becomes pivotal for us. When it comes to customer service, any one customer who is left behind will be left for always. That's what we feel as our strategy. And to keep them connected, to keep them close with us, communication becomes an important part for us. We may get sometimes quite annoyed with the kind of communication that we keep getting and keep triggering to us. But having said that, if those communications are not done, if those hyper-personalizations are not done, we are completely helter-skelter when it comes to getting the information about the order, getting the information about the delivery of the product, getting the information about the status of return and refund of the product at the end. Because everything is linked to money and everything is linked to emotion. When it comes to us, customer buying an order, buying a product is not a product per se for us. It's an emotion that is linked to each order. That's how we look at things. And when it comes to innovation in our particular journey, what I feel that one particular innovation that is a breakthrough for us, we mostly talk about having one CRM system, having 4 or 5 different platforms interlinked to it. Then we start integrating with multiple partners, tech partners, and we start delivering that particular experience for the customer. On the contrary, what we feel when it comes to having one CRM, the technologies has to be in-house and everything has to be seamlessly integrated rather than integrating from different channels and platform. Let's say we have social media, we have service chat, we have CRM, then we have our inbound contact center, then we have our non-voice channels. Everything is working in silos, and everything has customers input, customer data, and customers persona at the end. We talk about one experience, how many contacts that the customer is making on at contact center, how many chat that the customers are incurring on chat medium. But when it comes to holistic view, we should have everything available under one platform which talks about the significance of that particular order or that particular contact as to why customers are making efforts to call us. Because every single effort in a way is a defect for us. There is something wrong that we are not able to solve for customer, which is leading towards a contact or escalation at the end of the day. So that one CRM, one platform, solve for all is something as an innovation that we look at it, and we are striving towards it, and we are halfway there, and soon we'll reach to the end conclusion for sure.
So Swapnil, as you have the mic, I have one more thing to I want you to answer. So you talk about communication. Communication is the key between any brand and I would say a customer, right? So I want to understand, because e-commerce functions on a lot of chatbots, right? So how do you give that human touch to a chatbot over here? That that any customer who's coming down with me has that kind of an understanding, has that kind of an ease in terms of talking to a chatbot, because everyone over here might have had an experience where I'm talking to a chatbot but I'm really frustrated. Why? Because the kind of thing which I'm looking forward is not there. So how do you manage over there at Tata Click?
Thanks for the question, Jayesh. So AI and chatbot, I'll probably keep it separate when it comes to the discussion. I'll touch upon the AI part of it. AI, as we all know, is creating a lot of importance and a lot of addition in our life in some or other way. But when it comes to AI, somewhere we feel that it may still take time to deal with customer emotion to a level what human can do at the moment. So there are a lot many examples across social media platform where customers are sounding little edgy, and AI is probably taking it in a positive manner and responding back in the same way. That is creating a lot of ruckus on the social media platform in some or other way. So how we dealt with AI in terms of utilizing it in our ecosystem, not by communicating with customer directly. The AI is working in a back-end operations manner where AI is trying to clean up the major call-outs or chatter that are happening on across social media platform, and those are being cleaned with the help of AI, and we are able to solve for the customer's problem wherever customers are trying to target certain issues to us and trying to tag to us. We are trying to solve those problems first rather than answering all the generic questions, because those generic questions may not solve for the actual customer, because a lot of chatter, lot of spamming that happens on social media. So we are using AI as a technology in order to remove that spam, and that is also helping us to bring in productivity, because so far the agents were handling all those spam, all those customer communication, all those customer issues at the same time, and those are not being prioritized when it comes to customer issue per se, and the productivity was also going for a toss. So when we implemented AI, 80 to 90% AI level spamming filtering that is happening, and core productivity is being delivered, and core customers issues are being addressed at a real-time basis. It has shown improvement in our average first-time resolution, average first-time response to the customer, and so the resolution for edge cases as well. So that is the use of AI that we are doing. When it comes to chatbot, another interesting story, the industry standard says that 60 to 65% customer feel that chatbot is enough for us to solve the problem because of the kind of generation and mix of age group that we deal with. Whereas when it comes to us, more than 75 to 80% queries are being solved at chatbot level only, and hardly 20% queries are being transferred to the agent. With ease and with complexities, the agents are able to solve those problems. And that's a good way to approach the situation against the industry benchmark that we have, which we keep doing the benchmarking studies, and we figured it out. Now when it comes to chatbot, how we try to make that another efficient channel for the customer. One, there are many dynamic level process changes that keeps happening in our ecosystem, and we keep feeding those information to the chatbot, thorough UAT that happens everywhere. But the UATs that we do is more of a conversational UATs rather than just feeding some codes and then probably looking for an outcome from customer and chatbot in between. But we do thorough UAT of each and every scenario. Multiple questions are being put into the chatbot, whichever language that the customer is using. When it comes to English, whichever sentences that the customer is using, we try to feed as much as possible. We have created a repository of last 3 years chatbot information, chatbot responses, and customer questions as well. So those are really helping us to keep having the deflection of contacts at a chatbot level only. And another important activity that we keep doing is generating CSAT for chatbot as well. So we keep tracking customer sentiment, whether customers are happy with our chatbot or not. And any issue that the chatbot is not able to answer, by the end of the day, we pull the data, we scrub it, and we push it back to our technology team, asking for real-time intervention as to how efficient and intelligent I can make my chatbot. So AI is helping us to build productivity and remove non-value-adding activities in our ecosystem, whereas chatbot is becoming more and more efficient against the industry benchmark. I think that's a good story we are heading towards.
Thank you, Swapnil. That was a pretty great feedback on how exactly you are using chatbot over here. So you also talked about AI. So once we are there on the topic, I would ask Sandiip sir a little bit about AI over here. So sir, I just wanted to understand how AI and customer feedback are helping you out in terms of anticipating diner preferences and personalizing dining experiences of customers which are coming to you.
Thank you for this question. So I think we'll talk of AI a bit later in the same answer. But I think first of all, the feedback is very, very critical for us, and it's lifeline of our business in hospitality industry. We can't survive without feedbacks. There are certain touch points, whether we have physical feedbacks are there are digital feedback, there are social media feedbacks. Now all those feedbacks which are getting at our one place, we have created a platform in-house, and then those feedbacks are giving us insights of what customers' needs are there. It's not only needs, it could be about our service also. It could be our food quality also. Now we have this cloud kitchen as well, so we deliver food as well. Now those feedbacks, when they come to us, it gives us a great opportunity to live it to their expectations. And we even take feedbacks of our restrooms also. So wherever physical feedbacks are there, for the sake example of restroom, there are smileys over there. Where we do the physical feedback when the people are dining, then they have a bit of elaborate feedback, which will allow them also to share their insights of what is there in our organization or in the restaurant, and we will also get that particular insights from them. Now, based on those all data, say now AI, we know that they've just come now, say in the forefront. Of course, it is there since last many years. Now, what we do first now, we are first of all cleaning our data. So we have our historical data as well. That needs to be cleaned. Those once it gets cleaned, and what data we have after our entire data lake is done, then we will be into the stage of artificial intelligence, where then we will qualify for the services. We will be able to optimize our inventory levels, our raw material. Everything will come at a certain time. It's not so soon, to be very honest with you, but it is going to take some around 6 to 8 months. But now what we are doing, we are with small data sets. We have started doing the POC internally with our own feedbacks, with our organization feedbacks, and that is where we are seeing good, like 80% of our answers what we are getting. So this is where, again, I'm repeating, feedback is feedback. But apart from that, we are out of business.
Absolutely, sir. Like I am a big time foodie. I understand how feedback is pretty much important. That's why I've been blacklisted from a couple of restaurants. So yeah, I understand. And thank you so much for your answer, sir. So we are talking about feedback over here. So I'll come down to Mr. Abhijit over here. Right. So sir, you deal with a lot of tier 3 customers. Right. Your target segment is tier 3 customers.
Yes.
And for me, and I would say for a lot of people, it's been a pain point to capture a feedback from them. Right, so I would want to understand from you that how you and your team are actually, capturing a feedback from that target market, and then refining your offerings in terms of making sure that you're giving a actual seamless experience to those customers over there.
Definitely, I think I'd love to speak about that thing. The Mailbox journey has been phenomenal in coming years. Largely, we cater to tier 2, tier 3 population for securing unsecured and secured loans. More than 50% of our portfolio goes into cattle. Now, basically in this particular segment, you are dealing with the segment which, most of them are new to credit. Secondly, many of your customers wouldn't even have even the CIBIL score. Now, that is the population that you have to serve to, and how do you cater your product to them? At the same time, you have to also see to it that the offerings that you have for your customer actually makes it very attractive and optimized in that particular sense. So how do you basically make your customer experience seamless and seamless as well? So while solving these particular challenges, one of the things that we came across was when we were small, I think the traditional way of risk modeling, compliance handling was working great. However, as you move to the next year, as you're scaling up, your customer segment is increasing, the number of customers that you are serving to, they are increasing. So now if you have, your time for processing the case is now linearly proportional to the number of customers that you are serving, then that is not acceptable to the customers that you are serving to. Second thing is that when customers are coming to you, basically, so there are different profiles of the customer that are coming. Some of the customers would, they would expect that since everything is clean at my end, I'm really eligible, that they know, they would expect that their processing time or the services that they get should be really faster. However, with the traditional set of things that you have at your end, how do you make those particular offerings, personalized or catered to your customer segment? And that's where one of the good things that we have done for while doing the experimentation was that we have developed in-house AI models. And while developing that particular thing, which we basically ended up crunching all the historic data that we had So that was like, millions of records that we had. Probably it crunched through, hundreds of different parameters, and we came up with a AI algorithm which now able to basically which works on the risk modeling side of it, and which could process a case, say, in minutes, if not in seconds. Now, that particular experience is very new to the customer in our segment, where it was earlier taking, days or weeks for processing the case, whereas, in more than 30 to 50% of the cases, now we are able to take the decisions in, say, few minutes. Okay, so that was really phenomenal. At least, if let's say you consider there are 4 to 5 stages in the process of loan giving, and if you are just landing your customer in the 4th or 5th stage right there in minutes, I think customer is really amazed. So that is one thing that we have tried. The second thing that during last 1.5 years that we have done is we have moved our payments from physical mode of payments to the digital payment. Most of our payment, around 90 to 95% of the payments are now digitized. This is something that we have achieved with the advent of UPI, eNACH that we have. And with this particular thing, I think we are able to prevent the leakages, and most importantly, the customer experience, be it in terms of dispersal or be it in terms of repayments, has become really, really smooth.
Got it. Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. So next, I'll come down to the insurance champions over here, right? Because I really like people. So I come down from a sales background. So just sharing a small story. So I started my career with 𝐈𝐧𝐬𝐧. So I was there sitting with parents where there was an insurance agent, talking to them, selling life insurance. So first he told the entire thing, ki kya milega. Then when they said we'll think over it, he just said one line and he was like, sir, agar aap nahi rahe to kya hoga? आपके बच्चे क्या करेंगे, आपके बीवी क्या करेंगे? And I was like, okay, ठीक है, but good point. So we'll come up with the insurance people. So I'll start with Shami sir, with you, right? So you get a lot of customer data with you, like you have a pretty big client portfolio. So how do you design policies to align the customer needs and preferences?
I think I'll just share with the group something interesting which we did recently. Communication plays a very important role. I sometime back also emphasized on call to action, and that came up as a thought to us where we decided that policy wordings are extremely boring for a customer to go through, right? They don't like it, and even if you see, the regulator is quite emphasized right now that making up a know your customer information to be there for him in single pages. Now, considering that, something what we did in a digital policy, specifically was at the end I need to empower my customer. That's where he feels the effectiveness of your communication. And that's what we did, We gave them a QR code to scan. No need to go to any of the download apps. You scan the QR code, you will download our insurance app. Whatever you want to access, you can access. You have a direct link from your policy document, you scan it and click it, because all these things are available thanks to technology. The customer feels instantly, as he was telling, that you make him go to the 4th journey seamlessly. That's what we did. You need a service, don't have to call, don't have to meet anyone. You use these simple tools which are a part of your policy document, and that empowers you to do your service. Just to conclude, I think what's important is while we talk about simplicity, one thing which we often mix up when we talk about digital is that it can be disruptive, but if it is not handled well, it can be disturbing, and that's precisely because too much of a personalized communication to a customer also confuses him. मैं आखिर से करना क्या चाहता हूँ? इस लिंक से मैं जाना कहाँ चाहता हूँ? I have downloaded your app, but what should I do on your app, right? So VOC becomes very critical. I completely understand, and that came to our mind also. While we were designing these documents, we actually went back to our customers, understand that what would you look forward when you hold a policy copy in a digital format or in a physical format in your hand, and that's where these things came up. So actually it became a 360 circle for us, our views, customers' views, and best use of technology to actually serve customers well. Thanks.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. So I'll come down to you, Mr. Kamlesh. We basically we're talking about certain tools over here. So just wanted to know, like, what role do self-service tools play in enhancing the customer satisfaction, and how are you innovating these things in your area?
So, in my previous question, which I'm audible, right? When we covered, a consumer is a consumer across categories. We've seen today's India consumer, and we heard a Gen Z to millennial to Gen Alpha, which we're moving, is a heavy consumer of digital e-commerce kind of, capability. So which means the good part is the customer is already aware. The customer's mindset is to interact with you digitally. It becomes actually more easier for you. And when I actually kind of look at a cross category, I know it's post lunch, and hence, talking about my company may, not be completely relatable. I just want to give you an example. Everybody's heard about Disney, as an entertainment, organization. Disney does very, very interesting things. It is actually called the tagline, and which is where I'll take it to what insurance can copy or mimic in that particular case study. And this is a published case study. I'm not talking about anything very, very different. It's called as the happiness, sector of the world, okay, which is the punchline of Disney, and they actually create this magical customer experience and personalizations through 5 set of offerings, okay, and which can be replicated to any company per se. First, and you can visualize, I'm sure some of you with your kids would have gone to Disney, or some of you not, but at least would have heard about it, is first, what Disney does is saying that we are the happiest, we'll create the happiest world, through our program or through our offering. And very, very clearly, they first provide you an immersive experience. What do they do it? If you go to Disney in that particular, setup of theirs, you will see, all the experiences will be a different kind of a world which you're entering into. There are manholes, are all painted with Mickey Mouse pictures, which means you will not be able to see any uneven area. The second part is they have actually deployed the smeltizers, the smeltizer machines, which means if you're moving towards a restaurant chain, you'll get a smell of a popcorn. You're moving towards a ride, or a SpaceX kind of, a virtual forum, you will actually get a smell of a space and a cloud kind of a feeling, which actually makes you more bright, energetic when you're actually participating in that activity. The second important part, which actually goes to the next level, on that particular bit, is they kind of keep the trash cans with every 30 feet. Okay, these are not only trash cans. In fact, they're talking about we are the happiest kingdom in the world. It can't be unclean or unhygienic. So these trash cans are with smart sensors, which have got pipes connected where the garbage or the drainage happens every 20 minutes. And if the can becomes full, these are censored. It actually calls the cabinet person to come there and clean it. The point what I'm trying to make it is not that customer sees an unhygienic or unclean object, it matters to the brand, but it actually matters with the spick and clean arrangement what Disney offers. The third important part, which very often it gets neglected into corporate kind of a scenario, is are you making your employee empowered? There are 2 golden rules what Disney provides to their employees. First golden rule, what they actually end up giving to their employee is you are the happiness manager of the organization. That's the training mantra 1. The second mantra is saying you cannot give an answer as I don't know. Make it possible, make it doable in a manner, find out the solution, then you actually can provide that input to that individual rather than saying I don't know. It is an excellent example of a leadership in the organization where the leader itself is kind of creating a path and creating culture for the subordinates within that particular bit. The third important part, this is the third one, which is employee. The fourth one is personalization. Walt Disney is actually not kind of just created, given the tickets and people are moving helter-skelter or a different ride. Wherever there's a traffic, basis the footprint, basis the magic band what the individual is wearing. In fact, all the events actually will happen where there's a maximum amount of crowd. There is, and I'm talking about technology, which is so seamlessly, 90% of the people who enter Disneyland kind of a bit, they actually download that app. That app provides three things. First, it's easy. Second, it tells you the event is happening at what time. Very often, the customer realizes where he's actually there, the event is actually happening there. But it's a fact that there is already a tracking which is happening through an app and makes the entire experience more easier and wonderful for that particular event. In a summary, I just want to tell you what this has actually led to Disney to. Every year, there are almost 200 million customer footfalls happening in the Disneyland, which means 20 crore people visit that. And they've realized 70% of the individuals have actually come once before, which means the repeat index of these consumers is very high. And last but not the least, from a theme park, they've actually acquired almost 15 companies like a Marvel, a Cover Fox, a 21st Century, a Pixel. These are the brands which you would have seen in the movie hall. Their overall individual revenue in a year is upwards of 100 billion. So this is a classic example how a personalization, how the entire magical customer experience can create to a new level which can actually help you to diversify as an organization. And I'm saying insurance is no different. It's the same set of consumer, it's the same set of expectation what he or she has with a particular product. And this is where we are here to offer to those particular individuals. And that's a level of experience, or that's a level of brand to an emotion, to a belongingness we are creating within our organization. So with this example, I just wanted to relate to it. I hope you are able to get that essence. So thank you.
Thank you, sir. Really a great example. I guess I wasn't aware about these things, so really informative. So next I'll come down to Dharmendra sir. So sir, just wanted to understand from you that you've been leveraging a lot of digital tools, right? So using these digital tools, how do you provide a real-time support and insight to your customers?
Very interesting question. First and foremost is that we have to appreciate that every technology is not for every client. So you can't replicate one technology for all the clients. First you have to make a strategy, which type of service, what you want to provide to which set of customers. So one size doesn't fit all. So in my industry, if I take an example, there are two clear segmentation. One is which are ultra HNI segment, another is which is retail segment. When I say retail is, say, client with a net worth less than 1 CR and client with net worth above 1 CR. So the most important is, if you are talking about complete retail segment, the most important part is how you are going to service them. So there will be a customer who has given you a revenue of 100 rupees, there could be a person who has given you a revenue of 1 lakh. So what first and foremost is, we have to be at the place where customer is. Now customer is now Gen Z, so he wants service to be at his doorstep. He doesn't want to go anywhere, he doesn't want to call up. So we use all the possible service channels, whether it's a WhatsApp, whether it's a chatbot, whether it is email, whether it is call, everything is available. Now, second step is that it should be relatable to him and we should be able to figure it out. So that's what I take a cue from what Swapnil said. We have a common backend. It could be different services, different service provider, but backend is same, CRM is same. So there is one customer view. If my agent is talking to the customer, he knows through which channel, what he has asked, what was the question, what has not got answered, what he can answer for. So there where the personalization comes into picture, that your agent knows what the customer is going to talk about. So upfront, that gives you a delight feel, okay, he doesn't have to repeat the things, he knows what he was trying to do. Number two, he doesn't want to be dependent on agent's timings. So self-service becomes very important. So we have created in channel the AI tool we have used, that it is at any point of time, even if. So most critical piece I find in all this service channel DIY tool is, if you are not able to answer, how are you going to hand it over? Important is not that you have created the intent, you have created the channel and he is able to answer. But you will find most of the time bot breaks. Most of the time it doesn't have the answers. So it should be so seamless that it should be passed on to a physical person or it is transferred to your backend to answer it, so that he doesn't feel the disconnect in the service. So if someone is using WhatsApp, he doesn't get an answer, he can create a query from there. Similarly in WhatsApp, you can create a query from there. So we have used heavily the Gen AI. So what we have done is, if client is calling me, there's a AI tool, we have a voice bot which talks to them, but we take care of the experience in terms of, if bot is unable to understand, or ask 2 or 3 times, it immediately transfers to the agent. So there is no failure point. So it's a seamless handover to the agent. So we don't get complaints saying that bot is not able to answer. If he's not able to answer, he's able to talk to someone. But what it helps is able to answer most of the generic queries. It will never be able to answer the specific complaints. So we have the focus on specific complaints to be answered, because there is an intent of every client that just call up and ask. Even he doesn't bother to go even to the app and check what is the status. He just call up and say what happened to my trade. So that is basics. So that can be handled by the bot. So we have to understand how much bot capability is. So how much you can leverage it, how much you can hand it over. Next part is most important is, if you are ultra HNI or HNI customer, you can't handle the same way. It involves a lot of money. Number 2, you need to understand assess the customer. You have to understand the risk of the customer. You have to find out the risk appetite of the customer. You have to fine tune your product according to the customer. And you have to win over the confidence of the customer to showcase him that how much you can do for him. So you can use the technology there. You can use the AI tools to create a profile for him, to create the risk appetite for him, to create a solutioning for him, and secondly, giving information, you can use the tools. So it has to be hybrid, where you need a physical touch as well as use the technology to service it. So that's how we handle the.
I agree, sir. I totally agree. Coming from the background itself. So every customer has a different kind of approach. Like every customer is different. So has to be approached in a different manner. I totally agree on that. So with respect to that, Himanshu, I come down to you. Come down from a analytics background, right? So again, so how do you basically do the advanced analytics, and how does it help you understand better customer needs, like, or how do you predict the customer needs over there?
When Abhijit was speaking and some of my co-panelists were speaking that personalization is something that is the need of the hour, I was thinking that okay, in each of these industries, how would they approach this problem, right, from the analytics perspective. So basically, there is one question you have to ask yourself: what do you want to achieve, right? And the another question, of course, it is also a what. That what data do you have? Now, looking at, if you get answers to these 2 questions, I think probably you'll get your answer as well. That okay, for example, I'll take a classic example of Netflix or probably Prime Video. They do the same thing. There is so much content on both of these platforms. Now, it is not possible for each one of you to see what series they have uploaded or what kind of content is there. There have probably million years of content on both of these platforms. What they do is, based on your past history or based on your likes and dislikes, which you have probably opted for once you signed up on the platform, they will run a recommendation engine, right? It is like customers who watch this also watch this, right? So they will give you a recommendation based on your past history, and most likely when you view those recommendations, you go through or you watch a series or a movie, you will find that it is up to your taste, right? How do they achieve it, right? So that's $1 million question that Netflix posed to researchers worldwide in 2006, around 2006. So they had a competition where they said that if you can better our algorithm, which is the benchmark, then we'll give you $1 million. So quite a few teams participated worldwide, and one of the teams, I think from AT&T and Bell Laboratories, won that prize. It kind of shows that how much effort and how much price that each of these companies put on personalization, and that is their bread and butter. So, I mean, going from that example to, I mean, we can extrapolate to, I mean, various industries people are representing here. So it's the key. No two people are same, and how do you want to treat them differently is based on their likes and dislikes. So, in terms of analytics, what I'll do is probably segment each of you into different segments based on your what likes and dislikes are, and we will have to treat each of you differently. Right? That is where the power of analytics is. So, I mean, that is how the scene plays at the back end. I mean, Abhijit mentioned something about they are onboarding people who do not have a civil score, right, in tier 3 or tier 4 cities. Now, I mean, to get an approval for those kind of customers in 3 or 4 minutes is an achievement based on you don't have much data on them. Right? One of the tools that people use is what is their education level, how is their setup, if they are self-employed or salaried. So all these kind of questions that are there, the information is filled, and that is run through the engine that they have built at the back end, which is of course using historical data. One of the other good data source that I also want you to point of know is we have mobile phones, we all have mobile phones, and it has penetrated to tier 3 and tier 4 cities as well. Now, there are quite a few apps. If you sign up, they will ask for your SMS permissions and their contact permissions and all, and you give them. Right? What in the backend is happening is all that information is collated. That is being used to kind of segment you in different segments. That okay, this person probably likes to travel. If you have, for example, Make My Trip on your app, on your phone, or certain other travel portals, right? So, and you will get your SMSs as well. At the back end, people can create your whole bank statements based on the SMSs that you have. So, if you apply for a loan, and if you have that company's app, you never have to kind of give your bank statement for underwriting. They will just say no documentation, you can take this much amount of money, and that will be credited to your account. So that is how at the back end it works. So the more information you have from the customer, of course with his consent, more accurately you will be able to predict what customer is going to need and how easy or seamless you can create a customer journey for you.
Thank you, Manshu. Your answer was pretty informative and scary altogether. Right, so we'll come down to the last person from the panel, Mr. Uday Bhosale. So, Mr. Uday, I wanted to understand, because retail functions on a different level, right? Your finance, insurance, everything was something like, we were discussing and we were thinking about it. But retail functions on a different level. And I want to understand from you, because your product, which is used by the end, from the end customer, those end customers are pretty unknown, right? So wanted to understand, how do you leverage feedback from digital platforms to refine product offerings, and what tools do you use to enhance these after sales support?
Okay, thanks for your question. Leveraging feedback means how to use that feedback for your business or improving the experience. So simple terms, leveraging, customer is complaining, fix a problem, improve the problem, right? Resolve the problem. The customer is complimenting, expand this offering and provide more options for customers on those lines. The customer just casually asking, inquiring, give that feedback to your product and manufacturing plants so that those products can be, services can be offered. That's simple leveraging. In respect to retail and e-commerce as well, a very good example given by my friend on Disney, which is more in the physical world. The same example I would like to give for the e-commerce world as well. So there's a company called Zappos, acquired by Amazon a few years back. Zappos was started like 20 years back, and it was one of my dream organizations at that time as well. The CEO is Tony Tsai, and this company was acquired by Amazon, I think 100 million. The valuations. The simple rule over there is they provide wow customer experience. It's not like saying wow, every interaction is a wow. They provide you a 365 days return policy, and they only sell shoes. So if you buy shoes from them, you don't like them, you have used it, whatever it is, 365 days, you can return anytime. That's an amazing experience. I mean, that's the killing point for that brand to grow. The way they have formed their customer service team, even Amazon felt that they could not build it, and hence they acquired it. The essence of customer service there is every employee, maybe a product manager, a VP, or the CEO, has to take calls for certain days in a month. There is the entire situation is planned such a way that they assign calls for certain hours to every employee. So every employee now knows what is the pain of the customer. They build upon the processes at their particular levels to improve customer experience. So, for example, there's one case which was quite published. If you go to buy shoes on Zappos, it's maybe size not available. You call them and you inquire for the size. They will of course say, sorry, ma'am, but we don't have the size. However, the customer service agent is empowered to search that particular shoes in other competition websites. They will help the customer, yes, I've checked this website. This particular shoe is available for this size. This is the link, please go and buy. This is a level of customer service which is offered by Zappos, which is of course the reason why the valuation was pretty high and acquired. So I guess similarly, we also try to do something unique. Our products could be easily bought on marketplaces, Amazon, Flipkart. What different we can do? So the important thing which we have recently done is to drive sustainability. I mean, everybody, every age groups, senior citizens or maybe boomers or Gen Z, are aware of sustainability. Every product which you buy on Midland.in, you end up planting a tree. You buy the product, payment is gone, you'll see a nice floral representation of a tree on your screen, and once the product is delivered, within few days, you'll actually get a certificate which claims that a tree has been built in this part of the country. I think this is one which we have been doing, and many customers are appreciating it. So I guess that's what I would like to speak about, leveraging and improving customer experience. Thank you.
Thank you, Uday. Thank you so much. And with this, we conclude our panel. I would really thank every single person over here for your time, for your, I would say, your knowledge, imparting it to us. Thank you so much, and it was great to have you as an audience as well. Thank you.
Sure. Thank you guys. I think yes, we did get to learn a lot about Disney, about the shoes brand that you mentioned, and about, I mean, even in the insurance sector, we are thinking about CX and how this is your third time. You know, CX has become so important. Coming to the customer service again, this reminds me that feedback is something that will make things better. So, since we are one family now, there are feedback forms on your table. I would request you all to please fill them up. This will help us grow, this will help us deliver our best, and keep doing such summits, and keep introducing industry peers to each other, opening new doors and opening new opportunities. And now I would request Shraddha Bhosale to come up on the stage, who is the founder and CEO of Krypton, to felicitate our panelists. Let's give it up for this wonder lady, Shraddha, guys. Come on, woohoo! So first up, let's felicitate Jayesh Naithani, who is the Director of Customer Experience Enterprise Survey Sensum, who so efficiently moderated the session and made the most use of the networking break, lunch break, and made sure that everyone knows what's happening. Then we have Sandiip Kothaari, Chief Technology Officer, Speciality Group. Then we have Uday Bhosale, Head Customer Care and CX, Hamilton Housewares Private Limited. तालियां बजनी चाहिए, come on guys. Then we have Kamlesh Manuja, Head Business Development and Partnerships, Edelweiss Life Insurance. Let's give it up for Kamlesh Manuja, guys. Come on. Then we have Dharmendra Narang, Chief CX Officer, IIFL Capital Services. Come on, guys, come on. Woohoo! Then we have Shami Kapoor, SVP and Head Operations, Tata AIG General Insurance Company Limited. Let's give it up for Shami Kapoor. Then we have Himanshu Rastogi, Analytics Head, ECL Finance Limited. Let's give it up for Himanshu Rastogi, guys. Then we have Abhijit Kamble, CTO, Moneybox Finance. Let's give it up for Abhijit Kamble. Then we have Swapnil San, Head Customer Service Operations, Tata Click. Let's